All right, welcome to our next installment here. And so this is the week of your midterm, and that midterm will be on Friday. But before we get there, there is an important aspect that I want to kind of allow time and space for on these couple of days. So it's a little outside the purview of like the trajectory that we've been going with, Hume, Kant, Mill. But nevertheless, I've been implementing this piece and this work for the past couple of semesters, just for the fact that, and this is a critique we'll see when we get to feminism, but it's also a critique that is well warranted here, as it relates to how many people of color does the traditional Western canon of philosophy prioritize. And, I think without much examination here, it's pretty clear that all of our thinkers up until this point have been male, and all of our thinkers up until this point have been white males. And, this echoes conversations that have been emerging more and more, and that more kind of social discourse is becoming aware of, especially in the term of the Black Lives Matter movement, and thinking about how to incorporate perspectives and voices that maybe either have been suppressed, incorporating voices that have been forgotten, or incorporating voices that just frankly haven't been listened to, especially kind of in the terms of the Western canon of philosophy. And with that, I know that these conversations, especially kind of with our focus and these questions and these discussions on race and race inequity, have definitely been prevalent, and I'm filming this video here in August of 2020, but I'm sure that even in October of 2020, when you will view this video for the first time, conversations are still kind of hopefully being discussed about race inequity, about systematic oppression, and about race relations in the United States and across the globe, and that the various movements and the various kind of visibility of movements became even more visible and became even more kind of powerful, in the early part of the summer of 2020. And in thinking about that, and thinking about, looking at and trying to give voice, in this class, but also in other classes, of representing and looking at kind of how can a bit of curriculum change, or how can a bit of trajectory perhaps change as it relates to allowing for more voices, allowing for more perspectives of those that aren't just white males to be involved in kind of the canon of discourse. And in the day and kind of in the reference of recognizing that Black Lives Matter and recognizing that Black voices matter, I think it's important to kind of see what we might be able to take away in conversations from important pieces of social, academic, cultural discourse. And so through the last couple of years, and through the last couple of years, I've been implementing, even before kind of this reawakening over the last couple of months has happened, I've been implementing more this focus on Martin Luther King's letter from a Birmingham jail. And you can see that I have it linked there on BB Learn, and I hope that you follow along here. And I've been including this just for the fact that one of the main aspects of this letter from a Birmingham jail, although it undoubtedly connects with various themes and points of discussion that are now vibrant more so than maybe they have been in a long time in social discourse, is that Martin Luther King focuses on the nature of justice. And so, the approach of thinking about what he writes here as a recognition of thinking about this overall conception of justice. What does it mean to be just? What does it mean to experience and implement justice fairly? What does it mean to have unjust laws? Okay? And so, again, with this letter and how I've approached it in the past was this focus on justice, but now more so as these conversations of systematic racism and systematic oppression are still present in 2020 and in ways of thinking, I think the letter takes on a bit of a different form. And as it relates to concerns that some may have of pressing a political agenda here or pressing a political kind of outlook, I hope that you can recognize that I hope that there can be recognition that I'm trying to stick with the text here as it relates to what Martin Luther King wrote in 1963 and how what Martin Luther King wrote in 1963 is still prevalent in 2020. Okay? And I know that there's been kind of the contentiousness of these various movements. I know there's been a contentiousness of recognizing, and of maybe the political undertones and the political underpinnings of ways of thinking about certain discussions on race, by which, I have to recognize my own position here as a white male, right? I have a privileged aspect to discuss race, but it's also important to listen to authors that are not that are not the same as me, right? That offer a perspective that I maybe should be paying close attention to, right? And a thinker here that I know that we all know about, that we've all learned about, offers us, I think, some really, again, kind of important words to take into consideration as it relates to the letter from a Birmingham jail. And I hope that you, again, can find these words in, as best as possible, an apolitical framework. That you can, look at these words and recognize them for what they are as a recognition in 1963. And this striving for equal rights that, again, I think has parallel to conversations that have re-emerged with quite tenacity here in 2020. So in the next video, we will kind of dive into the actual letter itself. But I just wanted to get a couple of those precursory remarks on the table, just rather than just kind of diving in, because I know that it may seem like by me choosing this article, I'm pushing a particular outlook, and I mean, maybe I am pushing a particular outlook, that it's important to read people of color in a traditional white discipline, right? That it's important to, again, kind of recognize and bring that in, okay? So all of that being said, I hope that we can approach this again I hope this can put us in a place where we can all appreciate some of the takeaways that Dr. King offers us here. And we'll start to dive in the next video.